TheRewindSports60.com.
Danny mentioned making sure everybody stays on their best behavior with this virus thing. Have you seen him show leadership in telling people to put a mask on or be careful when they leave the building, stuff like that?
Well, I would say it's just more so everyone taking initiative themselves and, knowing that they have a job. We all have a job to do. And if we want to play ball, we have to abide by the rules. So it's just more so abiding by the rules and just doing things the right way. And we all know right from wrong.
Colleen?
Hey, Roquan, I was just curious, what was your reaction to Eddie Goldman opting out, and what are you going to miss as a defense without him in there?
Oh, well, yeah, definitely. He's a huge part of the defense. But, individuals have to make certain decisions for their best interests. And I completely understand that and respect that. We all care for him and we're here for him. And we think about him, but we have to continue to go.
JJ?
Hey, Roquan, I'm just curious, what has been the thing that's maybe struck you the most about the coronavirus protocols inside Hallis Hall? Like the one thing where you're like, man, that's just kind of weird that this is here.
Nothing really. Honestly, there's not a whole lot of things. Honestly, it's just just wearing a mask because, in normal day-to-day, prior to the corona stuff, it's very unlikely to see someone just wearing a mask around the building unless you're at the nail salon or something. So I would just say just wearing a mask, but we all understand that's the rule.
Steve?
Let me unmute myself. Yeah, Danny, just curious as to what kind of changes have you had to make to your personal routine in response to everything that's going on or your training regimen?
I would just say it's just more so just, there's certain things that you have to do just being a pro. So being a pro, you know exactly what you need to do for your body on and off the field. So it's just more so abiding by those things and just doing things the right way and just putting your best foot forward day in and day out.
Dan?
Roquan, how much mass did you put on throughout the offseason? And for you, where are you at physically coming through the rehab and everything that you had to go through in the winter?
I feel like I'm at 100% for sure. And I feel like I put on a couple pounds and whatnot. And I think some of it will come off when I'm in camp and things of that nature. But I feel really good. So I'm just excited to see where I'm at and then getting out there and competing versus some of the guys.
Mark?
Roquan, Mark DeLeon mentioned the noticeable difference he saw in you physically through the rehab and stuff like that. Was that a conscious decision on your part? Do you feel like being bigger, better, faster, whatever, just being better physically, in better shape will make you better, or was that just kind of the way it worked out?
Oh, well, I definitely feel like the better shape you're in, that's the better player you'll be. So I was definitely thinking coming into the season, wanting to be this my best year to the day. And so I was just like, I'm going to do whatever it takes to make sure that happens, regardless of how much work I have to put in. So just putting in work each and every day. And that's just tends to what happens when you put in some good work.
Kevin?
Roquan, you mentioned wearing a mask. What's it like to practice in a mask?
It's not that bad, actually, and walk through and things of that nature, going into mass, it's actually not that bad. So it's not like you're just huffing and puffing. So I don't think it's that horrible, honestly.
Adam Johns?
Hey, Roquan, I know you've gotten a chance to be around some of the rookies more than some of the other vets recently. I'm curious, what are your overall impressions of the guys, specifically Cole Kmet?
Honestly, I haven't had a lot of time to be around him yet, but I'm excited to go against him and practice and whatnot. I think it'll be some good work. I've seen some of his film from Notre Dame, so I know he's a good player. So excited to go against him. But I can't say for the linebackers that I've been around more often. I can't say those guys have been picking up on things really quick to be rookies and whatnot. So their learning curve is pretty sharp.
Mark Grody.
Roquan, I think everybody that we have spoken to this offseason about you has said that you are poised to have a big year. Number one, why do you think people are saying that? And then number two, if you can clarify, did you say that you feel like you need to lose a couple pounds? I think you said that the weight will come off. Is that what you were saying, or am I mischaracterizing?
Well, more so just saying you tend to lose weight a couple pounds during camp. So you try to come in a couple pounds, and everyone's different. So you try to come in a couple pounds more than what you would like to be in a sense. But I just feel like it's just me. I just have a chip on my shoulder. So it's just more so myself, just knowing what I need to do to make myself the best possible player I need to be. So regardless if that's coming in each and every day, what it is, coming in each and every day and busting my tail and really not taking no for an answer and just doing whatever it takes.
Brad?
So how much did you weigh when you reported for camp, and what will be the key to that consistent level of play that you want to achieve and accomplish this season?
I would say I came in at 234, and it's just more so just coming in and just doing what I need to do. It's not really a lot, just God willing for me not to get hurt or anything like that. I feel like if that's not the case, then I feel like just me week in and week out, I feel like my mindset right now, I feel like I definitely can do some nice things this year. So I'm just looking forward to that.
Pat?
Hey, Roquan, is there anything that you learned from your rookie year when you didn't have a traditional training camp that might actually help you here?
I feel like if you're in good shape, you're playing good ball, you kind of know your body, so you know what you need to do to get your body in best shape that it can be. So I think that's just part of being a pro. So I don't think there's like any secrets to a lot of things. It's just more so just knowing what you need to do, and everyone is different, so it varies depending on the individual.
Dan?
Just can you hear me?
You're good now.
Am I good now?
Yep.
Roquan, Danny said that guys are fiending and really scratching their necks, just eager to get to real football and start practicing. Where are you at in your sort of eagerness, and what are you most curious to see from this team, considering you guys haven't practiced since December?
Yeah, I'm very excited. I'm just more so eager just to get out and play the game that I love. And I think everyone is just very excited. You know, walkthroughs are one thing, but just being able to put the pads back on and doing what you love day in and day out. So I think that's big time. I think we're just all eager to play good ball. And I'm just excited to see everyone come out and be the best version of themselves and push themselves each and every day. And I feel like if that's the case, then like the sky's the limit for us.
Okay, we have time for a few more. Hub? Need to unmute Hub. Can't hear you, Hub. We'll come back to you, Hub. Kevin?
Hey, Roquan, when you've watched your play over the last couple seasons and you look ahead to this year, what are some of the things, skill set wise, on the field, whatever, that you really think you can kind of take to the next level in your game?
I feel like there's everything, because everything can get better. Like far as run plays, I feel like that can get better. I feel like pass coverage, I feel like that can get better. So I feel like it's everything in my game can get better, because like there's never a time where you get complacent and feel like, oh, I do this at this level. Like regardless of like how good you're doing something, I feel like you can always do something a little bit better. So I'm just looking at that in all facets of my game and just trying to be the best version of myself.
You got us now, Hub? Still can't hear you. Sorry. Mark Potash, go ahead. Last one.
Roquan, along with your physical maturity, what about your mental maturity after 2 years in the league? Do you just feel, you kind of look more comfortable? Do you feel more comfortable and in a better position to really take advantage of what you got in the situation you're in the NFL?
Yeah, I'm very excited. I feel great, like physically, mentally. So like I'm very, very excited for this year, and I feel like I'm very excited for this season in particular, and just to show the world what I can do. And it should be a fun one, so I'm very excited.
All right, Roquan, we'll let you go. Thanks for your time. Appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
Start taking questions upstairs at Rogers Place before going to our callers on Zoom. Ken Weeb, go ahead with your question for either Brandon or Dominic.
Thanks for taking the time. For both of you, what makes your captain such a good leader?
Sorry.
Well, I think just leading by example. You know, he says the right things, the experience he has, the respect he has in the room. I think the biggest thing, though, you can talk the talk, but when you're going out there leading by example with his work ethic, everyone buys in. So it starts from the top with him, and then team buys into that, and we're going to have success.
Going through your mind when you see Jonathan battling for that puck with Bear down low before your game winner?
Well, I think it was huge. I think it all shift when just tried to end up in their zone to get us going a little bit. And yeah, the battle was huge, and just tried to find a spot there and shoot it quick as possible. So really happy that it went in.
Take the next question upstairs from Carol Schramm. Carol, go ahead.
Brandon, how much do you think that the break between the end of the regular season and the beginning of this qualifying round benefited your team in terms of creating a clean slate for you coming in here?
Yeah, I think it's very helpful. You know, we weren't playing maybe our best hockey. Even extending the playoffs to 24 teams helps us. So just getting that opportunity is huge for our team. And then you have that few month break to kind of heal up, recover, prepare for whatever that comes in store. And yeah, like I said, we weren't playing our best hockey. So to kind of have a reset, let guys kind of look back and touch upon what makes us successful, and then coming in and doing that in the playoffs.
After everything that you've known about NHL playoffs in your life, you come in and have that amazing first game, and now such an important goal in this game as well. Is this what you imagined, or something more than that?
Is it for me?
Yeah. You scored the game winner, didn't you?
I actually, I didn't listen. I just got lost. Sorry. Can we go again, please?
Sure. I just wanted to know how much your success in the first game and then getting the game-winning goal tonight, how that feels, and if it sort of exceeds your expectations of what NHL playoffs were going to be like for you.
Well, I try to get ready. Obviously, like those 4 months that I, try to get my my game back, because obviously after a little while you just need to get going right away. So obviously the first game helped me a lot, but after that you just want to keep going. You know, you gotta be successful, and you want to get those chances and play the way you want to play. But I'm happy that I scored today. Obviously, it's always nice to be on the board, but it's a team win, and we're off to the next round, so it's great.
Take one more question upstairs from Derek Van Diest. Derek, go ahead.
Brandon, I just want to ask you about experience. This experience you guys have on this team. You guys have guys that have been through the wars, have been through the battles. How big was that a factor in this series, in your opinion?
I think it's helpful. You know, it's some moments where they're kind of putting the pressure on us. You could see they had some chances, but we have our veterans trying to just keep the group calm. Crow stood in there, made some big saves for us, stayed calm when they had some pucks around the net, and I think that helps our team kind of have confidence moving forward. So I think that's just from the top down what we try to do.
I just want to ask you about your goaltender. Corey Crawford was outstanding today, and he really shut the door, especially when you guys went up 3-2.
Is that for me or Dominic or both?
Yeah.
You guys hear it? It's like.
Just go ahead.
For Dominic, please.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think he's a huge part of our team, and I think he played real well today. Obviously trying to help him, but we gave up too many penalties today, so I'm really happy that he shot the third today, and I think he was our best player.
We have time for a few questions on Zoom. A reminder to the media to please address your question to a specific player. Start with John Dietz. John, go ahead.
Hey, Brandon. This question's for you. What's going through your mind in the last 15 seconds there as Edmonton's got the puck and doing everything they can to tie the game there?
Yeah, it's a pretty crazy ending there. I think just hoping for the best, holding your breath there. Kind of could have got a puck out there. We're all kind of on the rush, thought it was going to be an empty netter. They're going the other way. They get a good look at the net, and I think he just missed it by a little bit. But That's part of hockey. You know, you expect plays to happen. Sometimes the bounces go the other way. Just thankful that he missed the net.
Take the next question from Ben Pope. Ben Pope, go ahead.
For Dominic, when you see Taves feed you there, it looked like Koskinen was kind of down low. And did it seem like there was space to beat him upstairs? And just what did you see in that play?
To be honest, I didn't even take a look at the net. So I was just just trying to always shoot as quick as possible and take it one timer if I can. So I think that's just I think it was a pretty quick play. So maybe he didn't expect it that quick, but I just tried to go up. But really happy that he went in.
Take the next question from Phil Thompson. Phil, go ahead.
This one is for Brandon. Brandon, when Archibald scored 45 seconds in, can you talk about kind of the reaction you guys had as a team, and then coming right back with that goal, how you felt?
Yeah, I think just staying calm, knowing we have lots of hockey left. That's never how we want to start the game with giving up a goal, but misreads are going to happen. He had time and space, and they scored. But at that point, like I said, there's a lot of time, and you can't look back. You just got to look forward. And then for us to get an offensive zone face-off and be able to capitalize, it definitely kind of evens it out for us and gives us that confidence and makes you feel better about it.
Got time for a couple more questions. We'll go to Scott King first.
For Brandon, when you guys first found out a couple months ago you were going to draw this matchup in the qualifying round here, was there a lot of talks, I guess, between you guys back then, and was there a lot of confidence in the opportunity?
Yeah, there wasn't too much talk. I just think as a team, we were happy to be a part of it, to get into the playoffs, and then matchup-wise, focusing on what we can control and what we can play as a team. Obviously, they have a lot of guys that are high-end and can score goals. So you touch upon it a little bit more towards the start of the play-in, but early on, we're just focused on what we can do well as a team that creates success for us.
Take one last question for the guys. Denik Mariovsky, go ahead.
Dominiku, otázka pro tebe česky, ahoj. Konečně musíš být spokojený, že si po tom prvním velkým zápase si dal gól a teď byl to tak důležitý gól. Jak ohromný je mít vedle sebe Tavese, který vlastně ví, kam tě má nahrát, a jak je to ohromný s někým takovým si na ledě rozumět?
Tak samozřejmě od toho prvního zápasu člověk od sebe očekává hrozně, ale samozřejmě to občas nejde, takže já jsem hrozně rád, že jsem dneska mohl týmu pomoct a že se nám to povedlo, protože ta série byla nahoru dolů a samozřejmě my jsme to dneska chtěli ukončit, jsem rád, že se to povedlo a hrát s Jonathanem je samozřejmě super, já si to hrozně užívám. Vlastně od té doby, co nás dali nějakým způsobem k sobě a vlastně s Brandem, tak prostě si myslím, že nám to docela začalo nám to fungovat a myslím si, že to i docela užíváme, takže jak říkám, jsem rád, že to takhle funguje a doufám, že to bude pokračovat dál.
Start taking questions upstairs for Jonathan and Corey. Go ahead, Ken.
Thanks. Jonathan, what is it about the big stage that seems to bring out the best in your game?
I don't know. I think across our lineup, guys stepped up their game. Got a lot of young guys who maybe don't have a ton of playoff experience, showing what they can do. And I think that gets you going and motivates you more than anything. So just trying to do my part and go out there and do what I can and follow suit with the rest of our team. So it was fun to see. I mean, we knew what we wanted to do coming into the series. Tonight, I think it was our first time where we had an actual answer to their power play. Great goaltending, obviously. But overall, guys got better as the series went along. And for myself, it was nice to get on the score sheet and make a difference that way. But hopefully keep getting better every game as we go along.
And Corey, for you, how would you describe the impact Jonathan had on the series here?
Thought he was great. He was obviously one of our best players. Not just offensively, but he had a big block in the third there when they were pressuring. And I mean, that's when a leader's doing that. I think it just follows throughout the lineup. So obviously, he's won some cups and knows how to play in these games. So not much difference. Not much difference now. So he was great.
Take the next question upstairs from Carol Schramm.
Congratulations to both of you. Corey, your trajectory to this series was not very typical. How did you feel in game one, and how can you contrast that with how you were feeling in today's game?
Obviously, it wasn't the best scenario. I would like to have a few more practices, weeks of practice, and see more pucks coming into the series. But I mean, it is what it is, and just trying to work hard to be ready. And I think obviously I felt way better playing each game, and just seeing different scenarios and situations. Once you get more of that, then just the better you feel. So, I mean, tonight was obviously better.
Take one more question upstairs before going to Zoom. Derek Van Diest, go ahead.
Yeah, I guess, Jonathan, I just want to ask you about the experience factor on your team. You guys have guys that have been through these wars and know what it takes to win, knows what it takes to close out series. How big of a factor, in your opinion, was that you have so much experience winning on your side?
I mean, it's huge. Corey was great all series, and I think, like I said, with our penalty kill tonight, to close out a series with all the pressure and the offense that they were creating late in that game, you need your goaltending to be huge. But I mean, I look at a guy like Dunks with the experience that he has at his age, and just how he holds down the fort. Power play, penalty kill, 5-on-5. You feel his presence on the bench, and he's competing every single second. So I think you learn a lot from a guy like that, even for myself or Kaner or the other guys in our room that have some experience, but that just trickles through our lineup when we have a defenseman that has done what he's done and going out there and carrying a ton of weight every single shift. So I think our leadership was there, but like I said before, we got a ton of guys that stepped up in this series, and the feeling is we're going to keep getting better as we go along.
Going to take some questions from our callers on Zoom. We'll start with Scott King. Scott, go ahead and unmute your mic.
For Corey, after a performance like tonight, do you feel like you're already back at being on top of your game?
I think there's still some work to do. I thought our guys, our D-men, our forwards too, everyone was helping out in our zone. Seemed like there was a lot of pucks laying around in front of the net in the third period when they were pressing, and our guys did a great job of getting sticks and letting me cover it or clear it. So I mean, it's a total team effort, but we obviously we want to get better.
Take the next question from Mark Lazarus. Go ahead.
Jonathan, in March, this didn't look realistic, a playoff appearance. How much does this kind of expedite the process for so many young guys in the team to get this experience, going to get at least 2 rounds now? How much further ahead are you as an organization now because of this than maybe you would have been otherwise?
It's huge. I mean, I think we all know nowadays you got to sneak in there, and that first round, anything can happen, and you see it right now too, that for us, it didn't really matter what seed we were. We knew what we were doing later in the season that helped us play great hockey and win games. And we got right back to that. And, you got to give credit to their top players. They still create, even though we gave them special attention all 4 games. But, we stuck with our game plan. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to have to weather the storm when teams come at you. But overall, guys are really sticking with that team identity. And it's great to not only get some playoff-like hockey, even though there's no fans in the building, but the pace is up, the intensity is up, and it's fun hockey to be able to play this time of year. I guess it's a little bit different, but I think everyone's game is growing with this experience.
Take a couple more questions for the guys. Scott Powers, go ahead.
Corey, obviously you didn't know how your body was going to respond to the COVID, and I know you had some fears. Have you had a chance to just kind of reflect that, thankfully everything worked out, and, the potential that you might not have been able to play in this series, and the fact that you have and had this kind of impact?
Like I said before, it was kind of it's tough luck to get that right before we were starting camp. I would like to have more time to get ready. But I guess it was over with, and I was starting to feel better at the right time, and able to start practicing hard and get into the first game. So I think the guys played great. So I was able to kind of hide back there for a little bit until I started feeling comfortable. And it's still I don't think it's at the top of my game, but it was definitely better today.
Take one more question for Jonathan or Corey. Greg Wyshynski, go ahead.
Thanks. Hey, Jonathan, you guys were a 12 seed. Mathematically, wouldn't have been in a traditional playoff tournament. A lot of people had written you off. A lot of people saying the window for this group had closed. How much, if any, of this was a factor in this team's approach to this series?
There's always going to be maybe unwarranted praise and criticism. So I think our core group has always done a good job of not listening to either. So, we missed the playoffs for a couple of years. You're bound to have people kind of come down on you a little bit, but I don't think any of that's fazed us. We're pretty eager to get this chance and show what we can do. So technically we just made the playoffs now. So the real fun begins, and, we worked pretty hard in this series to beat a good team, and we're going to have to, dig deep and keep finding better and better in the next one. So it's fun. Like I said, even though there's no fans in the building, guys want to win. So nice to get that series win. I think everyone's feeling good.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
TheRewindSports60.com. Relax, reset, rejuvenate. Go to a link right now to restart your life. TheRewindSports60.com. What are you waiting for? Hope to see you soon. The Rewind Sports 60.
begin our media availability with some comments from Chicago Blackhawks head coach Jeremy Colleton, followed by some questions upstairs and on Zoom. Go ahead, coach.
Yeah, great to end the series. Obviously, it was a big challenge facing an excellent team with some as good of players as you'll find in the league, but really proud of how we competed. Thought, right from the first game, we showed we were ready and committed to doing the little things that give you a chance to win. So, we still learned some lessons throughout the series and, certainly the last period and tonight, I think we know we can play better, but we found a way to win. We got some big saves from Crow to keep us in the lead, and just proud of how hard we competed and excited to continue on.
Begin taking questions upstairs. Ken Wiebe, go ahead.
Jeremy, how would you describe the impact Jonathan Toews had on the series, especially going head-to-head with Draisaitl and McDavid?
Yeah, big challenge, obviously, but Johnny's been around a long time, and he's got a pretty immaculate track record in the playoffs. And to me, his biggest attribute that he has is his compete level. He wins a 50-50 battle on the winning goal, just finds a way to come up with the puck, and that's the winner. And he came up big for us throughout the series in those types of situations. So great player.
Looks like Kirby Dach had used the break pretty wisely. I mean, what does it mean for him to have a guy like Jonathan as a leader with your group?
Yeah, no question. For a young player coming up, it's a pretty good situation for Kirby to have guys like Toews and Kane and Dunk, and just to, it's speeds up the process for him. And Kirby, as the years gone on, he just he keeps getting better, and this playoffs here, I think, really has brought out the best in him. And actually, I would probably say the same thing about Kirby, that his best attribute is his competitiveness. And, these types of games, that's what separates the guys who get it done from the guys who don't. So pretty excited about his how he's performed so far and where he's going to go from here.
Jeremy.
Thanks. Take the next question upstairs from Carol Schramm.
Jeremy, congratulations on your first postseason NHL series win. How valuable do you think that the break was in giving your team sort of a clean slate to come in here, and not just being one of the 24 teams, but also being level with everybody and having a chance to get after it and advance and do something this summer?
Yeah. So first of all, obviously the rules changed for how they would decide who was going to get in. But from our perspective, it's just an opportunity, and they've changed the tournament, and they're still going to award the Stanley Cup at the end. So it's all about what you do with it. And our group, right from the time we got to camp, they've been totally committed, and the work ethic has been excellent, and it's given us a chance to win. So the break, we have an extremely young team, a lot of players who are getting their first chance, to play in these types of games. We have the older guys who have the pedigree, but there's just a handful of them, and the rest of our guys are, for the most part, pretty young. So I thought we got better as the year went on. I think our team, there was a transformation from, training camp to March, and then all those guys got a chance to take a little break and reflect on the season they've gone through, and they've taken another step. And to me, that's probably the biggest reason why I think we're a better team now.
Take one more question upstairs from Derek Van Diest. Derek, go ahead.
Yeah, Jeremy, I just want to ask you about the luxury of having Stanley Cup champions on your roster and guys that know how to play it at this time of year and have been in the wars and kind of know how to close out series like this.
Yeah, I think certainly this game in particular was one where you feel good that you have those guys in the room who know what it's like to close out a team. And you got to do it when you get the chance. You don't want to give a team extra life. And certainly, I think we could have played better tonight, but we found a way to win anyway. And that's in no small part to the leadership we do have. And it felt good going into the game to know we had that and feeling like we would find a way to be prepared to get it done. And that's what we did.
Thanks, Jeremy.
Start taking questions from our callers on Zoom. Carter Baum, go ahead.
Jeremy, I know you're excited about this win, but you're set to face either Colorado or Vegas in the next round. What kind of different challenges do each of those teams pose for you guys?
Yeah, both excellent teams. They've had great seasons, and they're coming into this playoffs with the expectation that they're going to win the cup. So it's a great challenge for us, and I'm happy that we get the opportunity to prepare for them and to compete against them. And we feel like we've been getting better all the time, and it's going to be a great test for us. So they're both of them got some veteran groups, probably Vegas more so than Colorado, but the same thing. Colorado's been through it now a few years, and they're hungry to win. And so they're gonna push us to play a more consistent game, to find another level. But that's perfect. That's good for our guys, and it's up to us to answer the challenge.
Take the next question from Ben Pope. Ben, go ahead.
Jeremy, all season long, you've talked about how you feel like this was a playoff caliber group and that they were a good team, even when the results weren't showing it or when people on the outside didn't really believe that too. How validating and rewarding is it to see that all come together at this perfect time and get this kind of achievement?
Well, I think the message has been that if you're willing to approach the game a certain way and have a mentality that you're willing to put the team before yourself, that you can win. I think a lot of teams in this league can win. I'd say almost all of them can win if they're willing to approach the game in that way. And I think it's been so rewarding to see our team embrace that. And, again, getting back to, there's so many young players, it's their first time through it, and them understanding, what we can do if we're willing to play for the team and just stick with it and have, more of a relentless work ethic and a determined mentality. And so we're going to test that further now.
We can take a couple more questions for Coach John Dietz. Go ahead.
Hey, Jeremy, just following up on that. Did you see that the lights kind of go on with that mentality at a certain point in the season, like January, February, or March, or was it all, in this training camp? Like, when did you really see your team kind of embrace that selfless mentality?
Yeah, I think it's mid-December. There was a marked difference in our approach and just the commitment of the guys to, we talk a lot about playing for the next group. Like, you're on the ice, you want to have success personally, but how can you set the table for the next group of guys who are coming on the ice and leave them in a good spot? And you might not get any personal accolades for that, but if everyone does it for each other, then we're going to have some success. And we're still not perfect. We got a ways to go, but I thought we got better as the year went on, sort of after that point, and grateful that we've been able to continue that process here in the summer.
Take one more question from Dan Rosen.
Yeah, Jeremy, you talked about the opportunity and it's what you do with it. I'm curious, how did the mindset change? How different was the mindset of your team when you got them back in training camp versus when they left in March?
Well, it's probably two different changes. I think for the older guys, it gave them a lot of life and a lot of energy to know that we're going to have a chance to play playoff hockey. And they thrive on that, and they've had success before. And it's hard during the regular season to play the way you need to play to win when you're playing 82 games and you got to grind it out. And we're a team that, that's where we're at as far as trying to get in the playoffs. And now that they're in, they were able to find another level to their game. They've all answered the bell and played really, really well. And so, and then from the younger guys' perspective, I think it's just been, it's allowed them extra time to keep developing and improving. And you put that together, and you know, we're an improved team.
That concludes tonight's Chicago Blackhawks post-game media availability. Thank you, Coach.
TheRewindSports60.com. Relax. Reset. Rejuvenate. Go to a link right now to restart your life. TheRewindSports60.com. What are you waiting for? Hope to see you soon. The Rewind Sports 60.
Nothing. Hey, talking to Mark DeLeon yesterday after your inside linebackers coach. He was talking about how important legacy is to you and finishing your career as a Bear and winning a Super Bowl. There you go. Why is that? Is that the case, and why is that also important to you? Your legacy.
I mean, you know, I've been playing a long time. And before you get started playing, you know, those. So I feel like, you know, Mark hit it right on the head. That's exactly where I'm at right now. And, you know, that's the attitude I'm taking this year. Hello?
Adam Ho, go ahead.
Hey, Danny. Last time we talked to you, you expressed some obvious and concerns about the coronavirus. Just curious, at any point, did you think about opting out, and how much of that has been a conversation amongst your teammates?
You know, I was definitely concerned about, you know, the virus, you know, with my fiance, you know, her allergies and her asthma and stuff, and my kids having the same thing. Family is very important to me, you know. Family, football, you know, those are things that's very, very important to me. So I definitely, you know, took some hard thought about, you know, the whole situation, handle the situation. I feel like, you know, to get out, I had to see it firsthand. So I came in, and I feel like it was a pretty good job handling the situation. You know, this thing is I mean, it's so wild. You know, this is the first year I ever seen something like this. Everybody probably seen something like this. You know, so it definitely made me nervous a little bit. But I feel like I made the right decision.
JJ?
Hey, Danny, as leaders on this team, what is your message to everyone else in the building, not just teammates, but, you know, coaches and staff too, about personal responsibility in, you know, away from the facility to try to avoid someone coming down with COVID as best as you guys can?
We got to govern ourselves. Everybody got to be accountable. Everybody got to be responsible and think about the next man's family as well as yours. Because you don't want nobody coming in there sick and, you you end up getting sick and you take it back home to your family. That's just not a good feeling or a good look for the whole situation. So the downtime is where you really have to be a pro, and you gotta govern yourself and take it serious, man. One slip up and it can spread like wildfire, as far as I see. So I feel like you just gotta home in and think about the bigger picture.
Kevin Fishbane?
Hey, Danny, one of the things that Coach DeLeon said that he thought last year before your injury, you were playing some of the best ball of your career. I'm wondering, did you feel that as also last year? And then if so, how do you get back to that level and maybe even more this season?
Man, I was just getting started. You haven't, man. I'm being serious. I was just touching the tip of the bird. I started to feel for the defense. Started to get a feel for that inside backer for the defense, and playing with my guys and understand it. Now I understand football so well. I know how to play the game mentally and beat people mentally, as well as physically. So I feel like I was definitely going to turn it up a couple notches last year. And to answer your question, how do I get back to that? I never lost it, in my mind and how I feel and, how it's showing right now. I never lost it. I just didn't have the format, the stand to go out there and do it because of the situation. But I feel like, it's not going to be no problem to get back to that dog. I just can't wait to go out there and, finish where I left off.
Dion Miller?
Danny, in light of all of the new protocols that you guys have to take just to stay safe, do you think it is realistic that you can move forward with the season safely? And what's the vibe been like with the guys as you have like a different pace to the preseason than you've had in the past?
To be honest with you, you never know whether we're going to have a season or not. All you can do is be prepared and take care of yourself. The vibe's been pretty well. Guys that, are concerned about it, but, we're playing the smart ones ourselves. That's why when you're worried about it, you take it more seriously and you're on top of guys. I think this season is kind of funny because you never truly know until it really gets here. The preseason's out the way, so we're gonna see how that go. We just get started with training camp, and we gotta go through all this testing and stuff before we even get in the building. So it's a whole. I would say it's a lot of adversity that you have to face through it and handle it, but stay ready to get ready. So.
Dan Weeder?
Danny, we missed a chunk of your first answer about legacy. Can you just kind of detail for us at this stage what exactly you're after and what it is you want to accomplish going forward?
I want to be remembered. Legacy lives on forever. I talked about, I don't know if you heard me, but I talked about, as a kid, everybody dream of, playing football or, having that dreams of theirs fulfilled. You always want to leave behind something that can be remembered of yourself. Like people talk about you playing for the name on the front of your jersey as well as the name on the back of your jersey. So I want to leave that, out there because this is such a great tradition of linebackers the Bears have. I want to be up there in there. And to do that, I have to make plays. A Super Bowl would definitely, put a stamp on that. And, you have to have a great team, man. I feel like we're in the right situation. I have one Super Bowl, but that's definitely not with with the team that I'm with. But I feel like we're so close right now, and to do that would add to that legacy. And Coach De Leon know a lot about the legacy and leaving that behind. I mean, just to do that, I mean, it'll be a dream of mine.
Colleen?
Hey, Danny, with all the changes around Halisol because of the coronavirus, what is the most kind of jarring difference to you, or what is kind of the most difficult or weirdest thing to get used to?
You said the weirdest thing?
Sorry. Just the weirdest thing to get used to or most difficult thing to get used to with all the changes.
Man, all this stuff is weird, to be honest. But if I had to pick one, it's I sometimes I like to get here to work early, but we can't really go in right now because you got to get tested first. Then you have to go in the building. I would say that's definitely up there. What else is weird? Shoot, I don't like getting stuff in my nose. That's weird to me. I would say that's. I mean, it's a lot I can go on, but those probably the most. I mean, but it's definitely probably the most worth it. So.
Pat Finley.
Hey, Danny, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. Hey, you were vocal last week on Twitter talking about some of the old coaches or players should be quiet about some things. Was that a reaction to what Mike Dick has said about Kaepernick? And if so, do you want to tell us what you think about it?
It would be you, wouldn't it? For the most part, I was just speaking on how I feel. Obviously those are great legends and all that. I'm not pointing out nobody's name, but it was a lot of people. But that's stuff that I took serious. And the people that I'm around take serious. Closed mouths don't get fed. Those people, I'm pretty sure they feel strongly on how they feel. I feel strongly on how I feel. The world is changing, man. The world is changing, and a lot of things is coming to the light. And I believe in doing right and not letting negativity in here. Although it might have came off negative to some, I was just speaking my mind and let them know how I feel. Yeah.
Brad Biggs.
Hey, Danny, thanks for taking some time this morning. I'm curious what challenges you and Roquan will face without Eddie Goldman lining up in front of you this season.
Man, Eddie's huge role to his defense. I kind of chatted with him this offseason a little bit. So I kind of, I definitely support his decision. Eddie's a hard worker. He never complains. He's one of the guys put his head down and go to work. But to have him not here, we're definitely missing a key part. But I think the guys that they brought in, and they're going to have to step up. They're going to have to step up, and it's our job to push them each day to get to that level of play. Because it's going to be a key factor, but I think it's definitely worth getting handled, and it will get handled. Just the mindset our defense is, we got Blau in there. He did a tremendous job. Young, gifted, hungry, Roy. So I think we'll be all right. Me and Rose just got to adjust our game a little bit, feel for those guys. And, linebackers have to play off those guys sometimes. So just to get that little vibe from them. I played a little bit with them.
Adam Hogue.
Hey, Danny, I'm sorry to make you repeat yourself, but earlier you're kind of breaking up. Can you mind going over what you were saying again earlier when I asked you about potentially opting out and you were talking about your fiance? And and kids and how that played a role in your decision?
Yeah, my fiance, man, that's like my backbone. So when Corona happened, she has, chronic asthma, allergies that's crazy. So I really, thought about her, all the sacrifices she made. I think she deserved all the credit in the world. And my kids, that's definitely comes first to me, family, football, obviously God. But yeah, that just, going in your mind because, you was hearing so many different things about the virus and all this and that, but, they start talking about the effects of it and all this and that, just throwing stuff out there. But I took it into consideration just because of, her and her sacrifice and how important family is and how important she is to me. So.
We got time for a couple more. Dan, go ahead.
Danny, you guys have not had a traditional practice since December. What are you most curious to learn about this team when you finally start to practice next week? And then just in relation to that, what do you want out of your starting quarterback, whoever it might be?
I didn't hear the first part. What did you say the first part?
I said you guys have not had a traditional practice since December. When you finally get the opportunity to get out there next week, what are you most curious to learn about this team?
I'm most curious to see our character, how well guys handle themselves and how this offseason, how well they're able to carry what they learned in the classroom onto the field. It's going to be interesting to see how that plays out because everybody's so competitive and everybody wants to go out there this year. We haven't had it. So guys are kind of like fiending for it, scratching their neck to go outside right now. All this walkthroughs and stuff is, it's necessary, but it's slow. It's not real football. Like, football is played fast paced. I feel like as far as the competition, it's going to be good to see. It's going to bring out the best in both of them for sure. And, that's what we need to see. We need to see that hunger, that drive. Which one of those guys want it the most, and who can, get a great feel for the offense. You got to have feel for your guys, know your guys, know what they like in certain situations, knowing when to give them a chance, just to throw that ball up and let them go get it. Those are things I'm excited to see. Just the competition and that quarterback.
And last one, Mark Grody.
Danny, I know you don't like the circumstances, but as a veteran, are you and other veteran teammates actually happy that there's no preseason games? Are you better off without them?
Me, I feel like I'm not really a fan of the preseason as well. So I'm okay with it. Sure. I probably wouldn't have played as much, or I would probably been smart about it. But for the young guys, it's good for sure to go out there and see how well they can put it in a game setting and execute their calls and play against somebody else that's been learning as well. And so I feel like it is what it is, to be honest. But I feel like it's a good call in my opinion.
Relax, reset, rejuvenate. Go to our link right now to restart your life. TheRewindSports60.com. What are you waiting for? Hope to see you soon. The Rewind Sports 60. TheRewindSports60.com.
The Rewind Sports 60.
Welcome, everybody, to another edition of the Rewind Sports 60. We're streaming live on Facebook, broadcasting from the illustrious studios of WCPT 820 AM in the beautiful, beautiful city of Chicago in the great neighborhood of Jefferson Park. This is another edition of the Rewind Sports 60. It's yours truly, Jerry Riles. This is the fastest hour in sports conversation. And, of course, ladies and gentlemen, you love him. He's not over at Wrigley Field. He's not on the rooftops over there. He's not at Comiskey Park or the Guarantee Rate Field. He's not. No, he's in studios, ladies and gentlemen. You love him. And before we're out of here, no question about it, I'm sure we're going to get an opportunity to hear his point of view as far as high school football is concerned, being pushed to the spring.
March,
ladies and gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, he is the one. He's the only. He's the marvelous one. He's Dan Marver. What's up, Marver? How are you, buddy?
It's nice and wet today.
Hey, take it easy.
Outside. And, I actually enjoyed the Blackhawks game yesterday. They won a game in Edmonton. It was pretty cool. And the Cubs just won a game, so things are underway. I'm just, the Marlins and the Phillies, I mean, it looks like it's going the way we thought, where it's going to be tough to finish the season, but we shall see.
Yeah, we shall certainly see. And you know what? It's interesting. We'll get an opportunity to talk Major League Baseball. If you want to join in, our number here is 773-763-9278, 773-763-WCPT. The fastest hour in sports conversation. Yours truly, Jerry Riles, and of course, the marvelous one, Lauren Cox is en route. Hey, let me say this. Lauren, drive safely. I know you're certainly listening to us as you're driving in from the downtown Chicagoland area, the beautiful city of Chicago. But ladies and gentlemen, I want you to be safe. I want you to be careful out there. Of course, the marvelous one wants to make sure you guys all and girls stay in one piece. But, the Cubs were able to get the conclusion of the game in. There was a short rain delay over at the friendly confines, and they were finally able to get the game completed, and they come away with a victory.
A sweep.
They come away with a victory, so that was very good. But as I was driving in, Marvelous, and I'm sure you experienced it as well, the rains were coming down.
Oh, yeah. Well,
yeah.
They had a rain delay of 1 hour and 2 minutes, I believe. And they were able to complete the game with the funky second base runner in the extra innings.
Yeah, I'm still not used to or comfortable with that.
Well, I mean, I know on the radio, Pat Hughes was struggling with how to do a scorebook.
Well, I mean, I'm sure there are a lot of people who are struggling on how to, I guess, do their scorecard because it's just different.
Sure.
There's no question about it. And for purists, baseball purists out there, I mean, you want things to remain, normal and want things to remain the same. But unfortunately, everything is affected by this pandemic, this COVID-19. But I do have to say this, man. The rain was coming down. Now, I went to church today. I'm a practicing Catholic, and I went over to St. Joseph the Worker. We stream on Facebook and YouTube. So if you're a Catholic and you miss Mass, you want to go to St. Joseph the Worker in Wheeling or the YouTube page or the Facebook page, you certainly can check out today's Mass. But went out to breakfast with the family and everything over at Granny's in there, over in Wheeling. And then, I went home and started preparing for the show and making calls and doing everything, getting ready for the show. So I'm sitting out on the deck, and I got the computer going. I got my phone. I got everything, placed and got my tea and everything. Sun was shining, and suddenly it started to sprinkle. So I take all of my belongings inside, and then lo and behold, the sun came back out. And I'm sitting out there enjoying everything. White Sox, congratulations to the White Sox with the sweep over the Kansas City Royals this weekend. Great performance by the boys. And I tell you, those bats are coming alive. They are hot, and they are coming alive. Yeah. But suddenly the clouds opened up, and the rain came down, man. It's just flood. No, marvelous. Here's the disappointing thing. Here's the bad thing. When I'm driving home from breakfast at Granny's over there in Wheeling, I got the sunroof up because it's hot and the sun is on. Hey, it's Sunday, nice and easy, getting ready. I'm pumped up. I'm all good.
Easy like Sunday morning.
Easy like Sunday morning. Well, that was only for a short spell because the rain spell came in. I parked the car outside on the street. Normally I put it in the garage. I had it on the street there, Marvelous, with the sunroof open. The rain came down.
I know the punchline. And
I forgot, silly me. I'm so, and I'm just enjoying the beautiful weather. And of course the rain came down. So I'm panicking, getting on my computer and everything in the house. I forget that the sunroof is open. So I get ready to leave. I go, oh my God, it's coming down in buckets. I go, oh my God, my sunroof is open. My daughter goes, I love her to death. My daughter's sitting there. She goes, oh yeah, I saw the sunroof open. I go, what? I go, are you kidding me? I go, I love you, Teresa. You're the best. I love you. I go, but when you see something, you got to say something. She goes, well, I went to sleep. Hey,
you probably need an interior car wash anyway.
Well, thank goodness I got the leather interior and I got the cloth and everything, so I wiped everything down and it was all good. But she went to sleep. I go, hey, Teresa, come on now. If it's your car, I guarantee you would have. She said, well, hey, it's not a big deal to me. But yeah, so we made it in. We're all good. Talk about we made it in and we're all good. It's good to see her lovely, her talented, her beautiful face, and I think she might have a little bit an extra edge for the show. But ladies and gentlemen, she's in studio. She's the one. She's the only. You love her. She's the fabulous Lauren Cox. What's up, Lauren? How are you?
I'm good. It was a rainy drive in, that's for sure. It was like flooding downtown. So I'm like,
really?
Why is it this much flooding for not that much rain? It was bizarre.
No, it was a lot of rain.
Well, yeah, but
yeah, it was a lot of rain.
Yeah, it came down.
Yeah.
But it's not like it's been raining all day.
Yeah. I thought I needed a canoe to clean out my car.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it was. I was like, oh yeah. But the good thing is the lawn got watered.
And the flowers and
everything got watered. And they say this upcoming week the temperatures are going to be pleasant in the lower to mid 70s.
Okay.
With some rain. So, it's that's good, Marvelous. But how you doing, Lauren?
Good. Staying corona free.
Yeah.
Happy that sports are back, and it's just so much going on with sports.
Yeah, certainly a lot just going on.
It's about time.
It is about time because it's just comfortable and it's really, really cool just to sit back and watch a Cub game, watch a Sox game, watch the NBA games unfold.
Yeah.
Even a little bit of the WNBA, but it's just.
Why are you always so shady towards the WNBA? Why do you do that?
I'm not a big fan.
Just don't even say that.
Why?
We don't even want to hear you say that you're not a big fan. No.
Wait a minute.
We're getting behind the
Lauren,
WNBA.
you know our motto: real sports, real talk, just plain real. And we're being real here.
Those girls can play. Did you see one of the players got into it with Andre Iguodala? Did you see that?
I did not see that.
Yeah.
Paint a picture for us, Lauren Cox.
So basically, he said 23 was nice as opposed to her name. And, you know, her name was Powers, I believe. And she just went off on him basically and said, I got a name and this is why, you know, we're not respected at the WNBA. And, you know, I'm paraphrasing a bit. But anyway, they started to put Andre's past posts where he said he didn't want his daughter playing for the WNBA because he didn't want her to be a lesbian. So you know,
why would he say something like that?
Good question. Keep it real sports. Why would he say something?
773-763 WCPT. If you got an answer,
yeah, he said that. So then, you know, they brought that back up, and he couldn't win that battle after that.
Can you pull up that on your computer there, Marvelous One? So Andre Iguodala said, I don't want my daughter playing in the WNBA because there's too many lesbians.
And he doesn't want her to be a lesbian. Yeah. That's what he said.
Wow.
Okay.
Very interesting.
That's very, very interesting, especially with everything that's going on as far as equality and you know, social injustice and systemic racism, and everything that the NBA and WNBA have done. Adam Silver is doing a fabulous job of trying to bring unity together.
Yes.
And it's really interesting that a player is speaking out against a fellow, and I use the word loosely, but somewhat of a colleague, a partner in this big brand as far as the NBA is concerned. Because the NBA and Adam Silver is really, the changes that they've made over the past year, especially prior to the pandemic, is phenomenal regarding elevating the WNBA to a more respectable league and equality for the women and the players.
Yes.
And then as far as pay is concerned, as far as paternity leave is concerned, I mean, the NBA and Adam Silver has done a fantastic job of trying to bridge the gap even before the pandemic. So you would expect and think at the end of the day, and I understand Andre Iguodala's position and his concern, but sometimes you just keep things to yourself, okay? You just keep things to yourself.
Say it again.
And it's a matter of you working together to build a brand, because at the end of the day, it is a livelihood for these women.
Yes.
Just like it is for the men. It's a livelihood. And despite how you may feel about it, you've got to I would imagine you would have to respect it and support it.
Yeah.
Even if you don't necessarily agree with it. Because at the end of the day, again, it's a matter of these.
Why would you agree with it?
Because he doesn't. There are people. There are people.
Well, no, I'm not saying him. I thought you were saying in terms of the WNBA.
Yeah, actually, he's made that comment in 2016. Is what I'm finding. You know, the comment it was a while ago. And at the time, he had a 6-year-old daughter, and he tried to clarify it a bit by, it's a 4-year-old quote. That's why I couldn't find it right away.
No, I mean it.
So this is what it was: former Spartan, current WNBA star Ariel Powers to Andre Iguodala. Put some respect on my name, because he tweeted number 23 from the Mystics is nice. She told him, put some that was the tweet that he tweeted out. Ariel responded and said, put some respect on my name or keep this tweet to yourself. And then,
but what was so
well, you know, the WNBA, they are.
She had an attitude.
I mean,
but they're just tired of being disrespected.
But she said number 23 is pretty good.
But they said she was saying that if it was male sports, they would have known his name.
That's not true. That's not true.
That's how she felt.
Well, I think she needs
and I think his past has a lot to do with it.
It may have a lot to do with it, but I think, you know, here's the thing. Regardless of whatever profession you're in.
So honestly, but that's what it is. It's the past. Like, he's got a history of saying inappropriate, foul stuff. So then when he tweeted that out, what you think now? Oh, let's give him the benefit of the doubt. No, he's got a history of saying foul stuff. He foul.
But it's
and that's why she called him out.
No, she's got to relax. She's got to relax. In my opinion. Because Lauren, you're
What he
talking about
said
the.
was wrong.
Was it?
Yeah, that was wrong.
He just said number. He just said.
No, I'm saying his previous comments.
From 4 years ago.
Marvelous.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Still said it.
From 4 years ago, I mean, obviously that comment is was no good. But number 23 is nice of the Mystics. I mean, it's like he doesn't know her name. I guess is the point that he's disrespecting her. But I obviously had no respect for the players to begin with 4 years ago. So so nothing's changed.
Yeah, here's the deal. I don't know. I don't care if you're talking about the players in the NBA. If you're talking about players in the playground, and a lot of people. And you can look at the ratings as far as the WNBA is concerned. Not too many people pay too much attention to the WNBA. 4 years ago, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, 20 years ago, not many people paid much attention to the WNBA because the word on the street really is the fact that a lot of people don't want to. After you're watching the most elite athletes in the world playing above the rim, when you talk about the NBA, most people on the street, when you ask them, don't want to see a bunch of women running around playing below the rim.
Mm-hmm.
That's the perspective, and that's the truth on the streets, and you know this.
But
you know this. Nobody wants to see a woman running up and down this court.
Do your daughters play basketball?
No, they did not.
Okay, mine did. So I have a little different perspective, I guess, because I thought, you don't see, the post play and everything else that you see in the men's game, but
yeah.
I got to enjoy it, obviously, following my daughter, so I have a little bit more appreciation, maybe.
Listen, I love women's sports. I at one time said my daughters were in gymnastics, right? Since they were like, little girls, 6 years old. They love it. I knew about gymnastics, but not as much as I knew about, the main sports. Basketball, football, whatever. But I learned to love the sport because they were involved. Basketball, I respect women in anything they do. I say, hey, listen, I wish that if I come back in my second life, that I could be a 12-year-old girl, the gymnast. Because the things that they do, it's phenomenal. It's unbelievable. And somebody said, Jerry, why would you want to come back to be a 12-year-old boy? I go, because women gymnasts, and to me, it's speechless what they're capable of doing. And Simone Biles, God bless her. Yeah. Oh my God.
And you would have seen all that.
She's an alien.
And you would have seen all that in Tokyo under other circumstances.
Simone Biles she's an alien.
Yeah.
I can't even comprehend how she's able to do what she's capable of doing in such a controlled manner. Listen, I love Michael Jordan. Everyone knows that. Simone Biles, in my opinion, as an athlete, she's got him beat.
I said
she's got him beat. She is unbelievable. So I said, hey, you know what? If I come back in my second life, I want to be a 12-year-old girl and be able to not a 12-year-old girl, a 12-year-old female gymnast.
Yeah, but then you'll have to go through the teen years.
Marvelous. I just want to be a gymnast. I want to be a 12-year-old female gymnast because the things that the women do, and no offense to the male gymnasts, they're phenomenal in what they do as well. The pommel horse and the rings. I mean, my arms are big as they are, without doing that. Just imagine, Laura, if I was really doing it.
Oh my God.
But female gymnasts, they're unbelievable athletes. I dated a basketball player back in my younger years, and I respect women playing basketball because it's a skill set that is, to reach that level, you have to be very, very good and very, very talented. But as far as mainstream America is concerned, and on the playgrounds, most people don't want to see women at the highest level. They don't want to watch them play basketball because most guys say, hey, I can do half the things that they're doing, which isn't true, but that's the perception.
No, that's ridiculous. You guys have to, people are starting to tune in more, and the NBA is definitely understanding their part. You see a lot of the players had on the orange shirts, orange sweatshirts, bringing awareness to the WNBA, and you have your new stars that are coming along. I definitely think that. But
most people don't even know who the stars are on the WNBA.
Well,
really, Marvelous.
Deladon.
Everybody knows.
Deladon.
Yeah,
is well known, I think.
Yeah, that's one.
And she's out. Sabrina's out for a week.
Griner is known too, I think, among others. But you know,
that's the point. That's the point.
So you don't think it's starting to get more interest?
No.
Oh, come on, Jerry.
I'm just being honest.
Yes, we're talking about it. Hey, we talk about it every week, whether you want to or not. So I think we are starting to get more.
Nobody.
Yeah, we're talking. Hey.
Listen, I'm glad you brought it up.
Yes, I will continue to bring it up.
Well, just take it easy. Just take it easy.
See?
But your job, as far as your perspective on, let's go to the men now. Is that okay?
Mm-hmm. Let's go.
Marvelous.
Yes.
Let's talk about the men. No offense to the women.
Okay.
Right.
Thank you.
I love women. I think you guys are fantastic.
I'm sure you do.
I'll tell you what the NBA as it is this week looks to me like the Proviso West Holiday Tournament or something, you know, all on one site, which is kind of with no fans. And so it's not the same thing, obviously. And what they've done is they have the standings as it was, and each team's going to play about 8 games. It's not going to change the standings much. It's still going to Milwaukee, Boston, Toronto, LA, Clippers, Lakers at the end of it. So, you know, they're doing the best they can with an impossible situation in all the sports, actually. I say, it'll be amazing if any of them get to the conclusion. But the ones in a bubble have a better chance. It looks like baseball made a mistake by not doing the Florida-Arizona plan. Well, where they would have been all in one place.
Yep.
In the spring training sites.
Right. But the sidebar to that, the one reason why they didn't do it is the fact that these players are going to be tied up in Arizona, and we see exactly what's happening with the numbers as far as COVID is concerned in Arizona. They're shooting out the roof.
Florida is where the NBA and WNBA is. So
they're in a bubble though.
Yeah, that's what I mean. They could do a bubble in Arizona and Florida.
Well, I don't know how they, and that's not the problem. The bubble is really not the problem. It's what these players, and it's suspect in the first place as far as baseball is concerned, because, you know, you go home, and who knows whoever you come in contact with, whether it's your wife, your girlfriend.
They're blaming on the Marlins. They're like, the Marlins are destroying the whole season.
That's the thing. In Arizona, actually, the spring training sites, if they went to their own sites, they're all in Phoenix, Scottsdale, whatever. It's all pretty close. So that would have worked. Florida would have been a bigger problem because the Florida spring training sites are more spread out.
Right.
All the way from the East Coast, Miami, the West Coast, Tampa. So that wouldn't have worked as well. But it looks as though this is, you know, the travel is the problem. I mean, they contaminated the Philadelphia clubhouse, so nobody can play there for a week, and it's already a big mess.
So Rob Manfred, the commissioner from Major League Baseball, issued a comment or a statement last either Thursday or Friday and said, you know, if these numbers continue to escalate tomorrow, meaning Monday, he's going to shut everything down.
Yeah, I mean, the Cubs are supposed to play in St. Louis next week, and they're already talking about that being in jeopardy because the Cardinals have some COVID.
And I think that everyone should have listened to Buster Olney, right? He said, hey, listen, it has a 5% chance of starting, 0% chance of concluding. And it seems like he's accurate because a week, what is it, a week and a half, 2 weeks now?
Yeah, a week ago Friday. Thursday.
A little over a week.
Yeah, and so it's getting out of hand. And the unfortunate thing about this is the fact that you're asking 20-something-year-old, well-paid athletes to abide by rules.
What's the one that didn't show up today?
Well, I mean, Kane is Milwaukee's quit.
Cespedes. Cespedes.
He just said, I'm not coming back.
Right, exactly. And that's the problem, is the fact that you don't know what these players are doing. Well, I mean.
And then they released a statement, we can't find them?
Right,
I'm
exactly.
like, are you kidding me?
Exactly. But the point of the matter is the fact that you can't control these players when they leave the ballpark.
No,
that's the problem.
Why they can't leave,
and that's the difference with the NBA is the fact that they're in a bubble and they can't leave. So you have some type of control as far as their movement with these ball players, and hence you see why the numbers are escalating and spiking. Yeah. Hence the Marlins and spreading around the league is the fact that these players. You tell them what to do when they get to the ballpark and how they conduct themselves inside the ballpark during the game. And they're not even following protocol as far as the games are concerned.
That's what I was going to say. They said Manfred basically was blaming them and telling them to stop spitting and this and that. And I'm like, that's your solution to this?
Well, that's part of it. I think Ian Happ with the Cubs said, hey, one way that we can control this, and it's what our great mayor of Chicago, Lori Lightfoot, and of course the governor said, put the mask on. We got the Rewind Sports 60 mask for you. Just check it out. We'll send it out to you. But the point is, Ian Happ said, hey, you know what? Wear your mask. Practice the social distancing as best as you possibly can, and do what you're expected. Wash your hands in the whole 9 yards. Stop spitting. But after he made that statement, you've seen some of the players around the league in the field with a mask on. I think there are a couple of Pittsburgh Pirate players with their mask on. There's some other players around the league wearing their mask or whatever because they simply just don't know. But many of these players they figure, hey, we're in our comfort zone as far as playing, in the ballpark, and so it's business as usual.
Oh, boy.
There was one network, the Marquee Network. They showed Anthony Rizzo when he came back. They showed a close-up of him, and they showed him spitting.
Yeah.
And I pointed to the television. I'm like, he's not supposed to be doing that.
I mean, at home plate, you got the catcher, the umpire, and the batter, for example. That's really close contact, I'd say. And then the players at the bases and whatnot. But there was one time that I think the bubble didn't work, and that was for Lou Williams, but we won't get
Yep, we got a report. The stripper Aries said she did get a dance. She gave a dance.
He got a dance?
Yep.
Lou Williams in the house. He got a lap dance.
He's an excellent tipper, too. Ridiculous. Really ridiculous.
We don't condone that type of behavior here in the Rewind Sports 60. But, hey, look, I told you this. And Stephen A. Smith said the same thing. There's no way. And I love my brothers. But in the NBA, them cats, they're not staying. No, it's not happening.
So good.
Hey, Lauren, there's two things they're going to be doing. One way, somehow, they're going to be smoking the weed. They're going to do it. And they're going to find them a little extracurricular activity.
Okay.
Some way, somehow, they're going to do it. You can't expect them to be locked up for 2-3 months and say, hey, you can't have no women and you can't smoke that stuff.
It's 2 months, almost.
Yeah.
It's not 3.
Listen,
well, if they go
to the championship.
A few people.
Hey, Lauren.
A few people.
Lauren. I'm here
he should know better.
Listen, Lauren, I'm here to tell you.
He's not 22.
Lauren,
He's very much so needed, and he should be ashamed of himself. And
Lauren,
that's all it is to it.
I don't know how big your purse strings. I don't know how much you got in your bank account. I don't know any of that. It don't matter. Let me tell you something. You got a young man, 20s, 30s.
More music, young man.
With a lot of
he's 33.
Hey, even those young men. Come on now. Hey, with a lot of free time, a lot of money, and nothing to do. Hey,
it's gonna be a problem.
Well, I don't know if it's going to be a problem, and then he rest in peace, John Lewis. It could be a good problem for some. Hey, but
not for the Clippers.
Let me tell you something.
Do you think that Paul George and Kawhi are upset? Like, I'll be mad.
They should be mad, but I think they understand too. Okay. Hey man, you gotta slow down. We're trying to win a championship. Hey man, I had to go get that lap dance. I had to.
No.
Lauren. No. See, everybody's missing the point. Here's the point. Lauren.
I hear you.
What the hell is a strip club doing open in the first place during a pandemic? Hello?
It's more important than a church. Come on.
Are you sure?
Yes.
That's the question I said, wait a minute. Why is there a strip club open in the first place?
See?
I didn't see, but Lou Williams did.
That's where Sex Pass was in Atlanta. I'm like, maybe he got in trouble too. Weren't they in Atlanta?
Hey.
When he disappeared?
He disappeared,
this is not
all right.
good.
She's Lauren Cox. He's the marvelous one, Dan Marver. It's Jerry Riles. This is the fastest hour in sports conversation. We had a special guest on tap, and unfortunately, he's unavailable for us. But no worries. We keep rolling. We want you to roll with us. Our number here is 773-763-9278, 773-763-WCPT.
You're watching the Rewind Sports 60. Go Bucks! Woo!
It's the end of the quarter. Time for a break in the action. The hottest sports panel in Chicago will get back to the fast-paced action, streaming live on Facebook Live. We're back at it after this quick timeout. So don't you dare touch that iPhone, Android, iPad, Mac, or PC. Lock it in.
TheRewindSports60.com. 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 Relax, reset, rejuvenate. Go to our link right now to restart your life. TheRewindSports60.com. What are you waiting for? Hope to see you soon. The Rewind Sports 60.
Rewind Sports 60.
If it's Chicago sports you want, you're in the right place.
Hello, Chicago!
The Rewind Sports 60.
That's the best in the city of Chicago.
Welcome back to the Rewind Sports 60 live with the best sports panel in Chicago. Lock it in.
Please welcome Matt Dumbo.
I'd like to say thank you to all the fans watching at home and all the people making a positive difference in our world right now. We appreciate you. I know none of us need to be reminded about how our day-to-day lives have been affected by the outbreak of COVID-19. So I hope the Stanley Cup playoffs can bring a little normality and peace of mind during all these times of uncertainty. I'll transition topics to a topic that is very important to me, my fellow members of the Hockey Diversity Alliance, and the NHL. During this pandemic, something unexpected but long overdue occurred. The world woke up to the existence of systematic racism and how deeply rooted it is within our society. For those unaffected by systematic racism or unaware, I'm sure that some of you believe that this topic has garnered too much attention during the last couple months. But let me assure you, it is not. Racism is a man-made creation. and all it does is deteriorate from our collective prosperity. Racism is everywhere. Racism is everywhere. And we need to fight against it. On behalf of the NHL and the Hockey Diversity Alliance, we vow and promise to stand up for justice and fight for what is right. I know firsthand, as a minority playing the great game of hockey, the unexplainable and difficult challenges that come with it. The Hockey Diversity Alliance and the NHL want kids to feel safe, comfortable, and free-minded every time they enter an arena. So I stand in front of you today on behalf of those groups and promise you that we will fight against justice. We will fight against injustice and fight for what is right. I hope this inspires a new generation of hockey players and hockey fans, because Black Lives Matter. Breonna Taylor's life matters. Hockey is a great game, but it could be a whole lot greater, and it starts with all of us.
Wow. Wow, Lauren. That was Minnesota's Matt Dumba on Saturday. He became the first NHL player to kneel to the U.S. national anthem when he did so before the opening playoff game between the Oilers and the Blackhawks in Edmonton, Alberta. Dumba knelt at center ice while fellow Black players Malcolm Subban of Chicago and Darnell Nurse of Edmonton each stood with a hand on one of his shoulders. Several teams this week stood together during the U.S. and Canadian anthems, with some players locking arms to show solidarity. With the message "End Racism" on the video screens around him, the Wild defenseman made a passionate speech about racial injustice on behalf of the league and the Hockey Diversity Alliance. Welcome back to the Rewind Sports 60. Yours truly, Jerry Riles, along with the marvelous one, Dan Marver, and the lovely, talented, outstanding Lauren Cox. I got to get your reaction, Lauren. And, of course, marvelous, but Lauren, your reaction once you heard the speech.
Well, the speech, I wasn't that touch moved and inspired by it. He said a couple of justices where it was supposed to be injustice, and I'm like, ooh, yeah. But the overarching issue is on July 31st, before this, Eric Trump praised the NHL players for not kneeling during the anthem. So they're already politicizing this. So, I guess NHL decided, let's scramble and do something. And so, they have Dumba come. I know he's a part of the Diversity Council, which, it's only about 4 people on there. And I feel like we need the right people delivering these messages.
So you feel he was the wrong person?
I want to feel it.
Why was he the wrong person?
Because he was stumbling. He said it was injustice, and he said justice.
I mean, that was he made
because he's reading something, and I don't feel his heart and soul in it.
Really?
And he is white and Filipino.
Right.
Where was the black person to say it, or at least a white person
next
saying
to
it?
him? Subban.
Yeah, and no. Well, he should have been talking. Somebody who could have really conveyed this message to that audience that needs to hear it, because, NHL and their diversity has always been a question, at least.
Okay. Marvelous.
Well, obviously it's not like the NBA in terms of the number of black players that participate in the sport. I thought that it was not shocking that Dumba spoke. I thought that his remarks were okay, and whatnot, and he's certainly, again, First Amendment right to do whatever you want, but I think the NHL felt that was the appropriate thing to do under all the circumstances. Fight against injustice, okay, recognize injustice, racism. I've always said We talked about solutions. You talked about a solution for the shootings in Chicago. What is the solution? I've actually offered legislative solutions to different things, but what is the solution? Because in people's minds, no matter what you do, there's still going to be bias. I mean, there's no way you can get rid of a bias in a person's head, unfortunately. But obviously, you don't want police killing people either.
No, I think you can get away from a bias, and a lot of times I think it comes from a personal experience. I know that there have been stories over the years where there have been neo-Nazis or skinheads, that hated, anyone that wasn't like them. They had an experience or an encounter with a minority or a black person, and it kind of opened up their eyes to a whole new different world. I'll give you a movie to look. American History X. American History X. With, what's his name? Norton?
Ed?
Yeah. Edward Norton?
Yeah.
American History X. If you haven't seen that movie, go out and get it. Get it on Netflix. Get it. Whatever you have to do. Watch American History X. It's a fantastic movie. It's on Hulu. Thank you, Devin Tingle, for that. It's on Hulu. If you haven't seen that movie, watch that movie. And that character, his perspective on life changed because he had a personal experience. He went from one end of the spectrum as far as hate to the other end of the spectrum as far as caring and loving his fellow man.
Absolutely.
But because he had a personal experience, which changed his bias completely. But go out and get American History X. Oh my God, what a movie. It's a fantastic movie. I think, Lauren, I agree with you that, you want something to be from the heart. You want the real passion to come from it, regardless of whatever the case may be, right?
Yeah.
In this situation, Black Lives Matter. You want someone who's going to express it.
Black Lives Matter.
Well,
I have to
he's a
disagree
minority.
with Dan because I think a conversation can change people's mindsets. I've seen it happen.
Oh, yeah.
So that's why I really feel that they need to have the right people conveying this message, because they had an audience. If it was a message delivered in a different way by a different person, maybe that could have opened up the door for some people. I mean, people were, we're so happy that he said it, and this was such a great moment. But did it really land a certain way?
Well, here's the deal. It's hard for you and I to answer that question because we are minorities. We're the reason part of the reason this movement is at the heights that it is, because of what's happened to us personally as African American men and women, but also to the African American, the black race, over 400 years of oppression. So we see it, feel it, and experience it differently. But for those such as Dan Marver and Devin Tingle, who are not minorities or black, they see it through a different lens.
Oh, sure.
Here's the surprising thing. We talk about Juneteenth. You and I, we grew up knowing about Juneteenth. Mm-hmm. But once it was brought to the mainstream America, there were many people who are not African American or black who had no idea about Juneteenth.
Absolutely.
So his message, even though for us as minorities, we kind of like, okay, thank you so much. But for the audience, which is primarily white and foreign, right? Now I'm going to say primarily white and foreign. Those were words that needed to be said and heard to be that eye-opener, so to speak. Marvelous,
couple points. You can't see it visually, but I am a minority. Number two, you have to remember that the majority of players that play in the NHL are from Canada. That's another big difference. So...
No, but I mean, as being, you're Jewish. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Right? You're not African American or a person of color. Mm-hmm. You've experienced some sort of racism or some sort of prejudice. But if you're walking down the street with Lauren and I, you're not going to be mistaken as being a minority.
Yeah, clearly. But
until you express or share
Right.
That.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the big difference. But being non-black, brown, when you heard the message, did it enlighten you in any way? Did it touch you in any way?
The NHL, this message we're talking about?
Yes.
No, it didn't. I mean, I didn't find it compelling. I mean, I found. I mean, Kaepernick would be more compelling, for example.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, so they have that. But on the other, but I think that it was. I don't know. It might have been that the NHL. And it was behind this. I mean, I mean, whether he's a good actor or not, his voice sort of trembled a little bit. So I mean, I guess he's nervous. Right?
Yeah, he's nervous.
Right, he was mixing up justice with injustice. It's like, come on. And he did like two. It wasn't that, I'm not nitpicking, but I'm saying you could tell he was reading a statement versus a black person has really experienced that, which probably was Malcolm Cobain right next to him, you know?
Right.
So that kind of threw me off.
I've been told that there are, however, some physical features that do identify Jewish people.
Yeah, there certainly are. We understand that. But here's the deal. I think that because of the audience, again, Lauren, and because of the league, this is something that's unprecedented for, a minority to speak out. And
kneel. When you first sent me the clip, I didn't know that he kneeled. And so when I saw him kneeling, I said, I definitely respect that, but my issue still stands in terms of they should have had a black person.
I'm glad that he did it. I'm glad that he did it. I'm glad that the NHL is on the forefront as far as making change and bringing more equality.
Are they really, or is this just what everybody's doing now?
What kind of change?
That's the great question. That's the great question.
Why they throw him up there with that speech that they gave him? It's like.
They had to do something.
I mean,
so you're saying he was a token representative of the National Hockey League? Is that what you're saying?
No, I didn't say that. I just said
I thought of that.
Or somebody else.
I thought of that.
Well, here's the thing.
It didn't touch Dan, so we ain't doing a good job.
Well,
I mean, that particular one. There are others, but not him.
Yeah, let's go out to our phone lines. Tommy calling from Chicago is joining us on the Rewind Sports 60. Tommy, how are you, man? Are you there?
First of all, yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me, sir?
There you go. What's going on, Tommy? How are you?
Okay. Very quickly, I tune in to you guys now because I really enjoy the satire between the three of you and the chemistry and also the information about sports. But let's be clear about one thing. There are certain conversations that we should not even embark on or get into because it's a broken record. Ever had that song that you liked very well until it got to that same point and then it just got stuck? So what difference does it make if you kneel and when you stand up, it's still the same thing? The bottom line to where we are right now is simple. We're in a world health crisis, and that alone would bring morality back to the conscious mind of any hater to recognize and understand that, well, wait a minute, I hate this color so bad. But guess what? I can die from the same thing, too. So my point on all of this is pretty simple. You want to stop all this stuff? Cut it out. That's all you got to do. But the reason why you won't cut it out is because then you have to repair what you've done. And so one last thing. I was watching the Lakers and the Raptors, and really, guys, I don't know how long it's going to take me to get used to all of this, man, but I'm just like, really? I mean, it's like the whole camaraderie of the game where the people could spur the underdog on or give that team that was down that spark to come back and stuff. It's just like now, man, it's just like watching some guys play pickup ball in a gym, except for they all neatly dressed in NBA uniforms.
Yeah, I don't mind that.
I love you guys.
Hey, real quick before you go, Tommy, thank you so much. We appreciate you and we love you too. Real quick before you go, you're a lifelong Chicagoan. What side of town you grew up on?
I grew up on the south side.
Okay, south side. So one of the most famous playgrounds in Chicago basketball history is Cole Park. All the basketball legends, they played at Cole Park because that's where you go to showcase your talents. And you say, hey, man, I can hang with the boys. You know how many people would stand at Cole Park all day long and watch the Hoopers come and go, come and go, come and go. That's what we're watching with this NBA hub down in Orlando. They don't have people in the stands. They got the virtual screen or whatever, but Basketball fans are watching these hoopers because they're the best in the world. And so I would hope that you would embrace that from a pure basketball standpoint.
Wait. Let me try to help you out.
Yes, sir.
On the west side there was a little gymnasium called the Boys Club, where all the elites went, all throughout the city, Southwest. If you were a baller, you know where all these places were. There's one right over behind the Museum of Science and Industry where they all went.
Right.
But let me just try to be clear about one thing. See, first of all, because we as moral-minded people have not stopped and said there's something that's really, really wrong, that thousands of people are dying, and maybe we just need to pause for a moment and straighten that out. We seem to believe and think we can just go on about our lives and then come up with a new narrative. Well, this is the new this is the new that. The whole camaraderie of sports, as you said, was the ability to go and watch these guys. When I see them now, I see all of these slogans and I see all of this stuff, and I say to myself, man, really? Seriously, guys, if we want to stop what's going on, then first of all, you have to do what Michael Jackson said and be the person that looks in the mirror. And second of all, you have to recognize and understand and stop lying to yourself and try to act like because you're not black that you don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
And again, I love you guys, and I tune in every Sunday, and thank you for letting me get that out.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate you, and don't be a stranger, which you certainly are.
I was going to ask Tommy did you understand the cut it out part? I kind of couldn't follow that.
Yeah, I mean, he cut it out means stop it.
Stop what?
Stop the. Well, I think he's saying stop trying to put, and no pun intended, but stop trying to put a mask on something that, you're covering up the reality of life, of where we are today. Mm-hmm. So I think with the NBA, I think with sports in general, we're trying to get back to our normal way of life. And by starting these games up, and we see how they're falling to the wayside, it's similar to putting a mask on to pretend that there's nothing real happening in this world. And I think that's what he means, say, hey, cut it out.
A distraction, maybe?
It's a distraction. So he said, hey, stop it. Let's address the issue. If I have a broken arm,
stop the games. I mean,
yeah. I mean, he wants to stop everything and say, hey, let's focus on life and get past this thing before we get back to fun and games, more or less. In my opinion, the way I interpret it. Okay. Is that what you see?
Well, absolutely. And the whole thing is money. This is what this is all about. Yeah. They're not, the sports bring everybody together. Right. No, it's economics.
It doesn't matter how many people in the stands, it's the TV.
And the advertising.
Right, exactly.
So, I mean, that's all it is. And, I do definitely agree in terms of we definitely need to stay focused. We got to stay focused.
I think the problem is, he said cut it out. Unlike Michael Jackson and the man in the mirror, I think the big problem is, it's at the end of the day, it's fear. I think it's a human nature. It's fear of the unknown. And that's where we are. And that's why some people embrace it and they accept it and they welcome it. Other people, they try to run and scatter from it because fear is a powerful emotion, and it could be manipulated and manipulate people. And I think that's where we are. And that's why we're distracted and scrambling because of fear. Lauren, we didn't get to the three keys.
Yes.
You got it real quick?
Well, I mean, we talked about basically most of it, the NFL. A bunch of players, a half dozen of the Patriots basically are opting out. Eddie Goldman, Bears defense, essentially,
yes,
opted out as well. So eager to see how all of this is going to unfold with the NFL. But we see what's happening with the NBA.
We'll get it more next week. My apologies. Marvelous.
Yeah, I just wanted to remind everybody, don't go to high school football games in 4 weeks. They're not going to play till March.
They'll be in March. Thanks to Devin Tingle, our producer, outstanding producer. Thanks to both of you, and thanks to our callers. This is the fastest hour in sports conversation. It is the Rewind Sports 60.
TheRewindSports60.com. 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 Relax, reset, rejuvenate. Go to our link right now to restart your life. TheRewindSports60.com. What are you waiting for? Hope to see you soon. The Rewind Sports 60.
The Rewind Sports 60.